Hey Familia, Diego here, and it's time for another installment of List of Dieg-icho! This list is for you basketball fans out there. Now, basketball is one of my favorite sports and definitely my favorite team sport. And right now, we're right in the middle of the NBA playoffs. So I figure, why not create a list of my favorite kings of the court? So in this list, get ready for my favorite basketball players of all time. Quick note, this is really a top 11 list, but due to the YouTube algorithms, it's better if I call it a top 10 list. So that we're calling it a top 10 list. There's a little inside knowledge for you guys. All right, let's move on with the list. Starting out my list of top hoopers, we have at number 11, the big fundamental, Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan is probably the greatest power forward of all time. He's my number 11 because as a Laker fan, he's an enemy, causing me many panicked moments. Duncan started playing basketball his freshman year in high school and then went on to become one of the best ballers of all time. He won Multiplayer of the Year awards in college at Wake Forest and was drafted number 1 overall in the 1997 draft. He also went on to be Rookie of the Year that year. He's number 11 because he's not the most exciting player, not in his play or in his emotions. He stoically is a 5-time NBA champion, 3-time Finals MVP, and 2-time NBA MVP. And obviously too low on my list, but hey, I'm a Laker fan. Now I mentioned he's not the most exciting player. Time to change that up with a dash of pure domination. Coming in at number 10, we have Shaquille O'Neal, Big Diesel. Shaq dominated basketball at every level. The LSU star was drafted number 1 overall in 1992 and was the 92-93 Rookie of the Year. He played along with Penny Hardaway and defeated the Jordan Bulls in the playoffs. And then he took his team to the NBA Finals. Now, it wasn't until he signed with the LA Lakers that he became a champion. His dominance is unmatched and was literally unstoppable. His work ethic is the only thing that held him back from being one of the greats. He's a 4-time NBA champion, 3-time Finals MVP, and an NBA MVP. One of the greatest centers and powerhouses we've ever seen. Now on to number 9. One of the best isolation men who ever shot a basketball. Tracy McGrady, T-Mac. T-Mac was drafted straight out of high school the same year as my number 11, 1997. His career started as a role player with the Toronto Raptors, but it wasn't until he played for the Orlando Magic where he made a real name for himself. He was one of the best scorers during this time. It didn't matter who guarded him, he was going to drop 40. Him and Kobe went at each other multiple times, keeping a young Diego Earth extremely entertained. He unfortunately had many injuries, which is a blow to any fans of basketball. We are all left with the question, what if? Like many players who never got to reach their full potential. T-Mac's one of the best scorers you'll ever see, and his highlights, just check out his highlights. Now my favorite position of all time in basketball is the point guard position. Known for being the smaller man on the court, they run the team and are also a coach on the court. One of my favorites is my number 8, Jason Williams, White Chocolate. He is one of the most exciting ballers of all time. His dribbling and passing is a sight to see. Drafted by the Sacramento Kings in 1998, he teamed with Chris Webber, Vlade Divac, and Peja Stojakovic. This team was trouble for the big teams on the West Coast, making the Lakers and the Spurs work all series long if they were going to beat these guys. White Chocolate would make the best defenders look lost. His great shot and amazing passing, his elbow pass, look it up. Just incredible. He's an NBA champion and in my opinion is overlooked as one of the best handlers of the basketball of all time. Now so far on this list, I think you've noticed that these are all retired players. Well, that is for a reason. I plan on doing a current players in the league players list at some point in the future, but right now we're talking about strictly retired NBA players. Moving along at number 7, we have Kevin Garnett. KG is one of, if not the most intense players I have ever seen. drafted 5th overall by the Minnesota Timberwolves, straight out of high school. The first basketball player to ever be drafted straight out of high school. This teenager made an immediate impact to his team and led them to 8 straight playoff appearances. Not an easy feat in the tough Western Conference. Now, he eventually signed with the evil Boston Celtics, and that's when he won his NBA championship in 2008. KG is a beast. Anyone have a question so far? Well, number 6 has the answer. At number 6, we've got Allen Iverson. After a successful college career with Georgetown, AI was drafted number 1 overall by the Philadelphia 76ers. This man stood at 6'0" and terrorized the association, making any man who guarded him, including Michael Jordan, look foolish. The Iverson crossover. Oh, the Iverson crossover. Just look that up on YouTube and you will be entertained. He's an NBA MVP and took a team of role players to the NBA Finals in 2001. He took on the best duo of all time in Kobe and Shaq and won 1 game in the finals. Allen Iverson brought a street vibe to the conservative NBA. His knowledge and style is the reason NBA players today are so stylish. Halfway there, we're going a bit further back in time to discuss who many consider to be the best of all time. He's definitely my number 1 center. Number 5, Kareem AbdulJabbar. Kareem isn't just considered one of the best basketball players in NBA history, but he's probably the best college basketball player of all time. A 3-time NCAA national champion and a record 3-time NCAA MVP. He was drafted 1st overall in 1969 by the Milwaukee Bucks and was Rookie of the Year. He won an NBA championship with the Milwaukee Bucks in 1975, but when he signed with the Lakers, that's when he started racking up the championships, winning 5 in the 80s with the Showtime Lakers. He's a 6-time NBA champion, 2-time Finals MVP, 6-time NBA MVP, and the creator of the sky hook, the most unstoppable shot in NBA history. Well, I mean, especially if you're 7 foot. Alright, it's Mount Rushmore time. These are my creme de la creme. With these last 4, it was hard to decide the order, but I had to decide for you, the brother Earthicans of YouTube. Number 4 is Larry Bird from French Lick, Indiana. Larry Legend is the most dangerous white man who ever touched a basketball. Drafted 6th overall in 1978, but opted to play 1 more year at college before heading to the NBA. His last year at college is where his rivalry with Magic Johnson began. People would talk about his speed and say, he's too slow, he can't make it in today's league. But a lot of people are stupid. One of the greatest ballers of all time, he would out-rebound you, out-assist you, and definitely out-shoot you. And even better than all of that, he'd out-talk shit everyone. In the 80s, he owned Jordan, went to war with Magic, and pissed off the rest of the league. He was also a hell of a coach with the Indiana Pacers, leading them to a finals appearance. If you don't believe me when I speak of his greatness, look up the legends talk about Bird. He's a 3-time NBA champion, 2-time Finals MVP, 3-time NBA MVP, and one of the players who saved the NBA from becoming a failed league. Ready for some razzle-dazzle? Well, now, it's time for one of the slickest basketball players of all time. Number 3, Earvin Magic Johnson. The best passer who ever touched a basketball. Magic Johnson was just that, magic. The things he would do and the passes he would make are unbelievable. Drafted number 1 overall in 1979, he led the Lakers to become the 1980 NBA champions. The best point guard of all time had to start as a center for a pivotal game in the finals. He was a rookie. His rivalry with Larry Bird was legendary, and they traded championships in the 80s. Magic's career was cut too short when he was diagnosed as HIV positive, which was a sad day for basketball, and really, the world. Larry Bird himself cried when he heard the diagnosis and the retirement of his rival turned friend. Magic Johnson is a 5-time NBA champion, 3-time Finals MVP, 3-time NBA MVP, and probably the reason the point guard is my favorite position in basketball. The next man I grew up idolizing. He was a god among men. At number 2, we have Michael Jordan. Michael Jeffrey Jordan. Air Jordan. MJ. The GOAT. Whatever you want to call him. MJ made a name for himself in college when he played for North Carolina Tar Heels. And he hit a game-winning shot in 1982, showing the world at a young age that he had ice in his veins. They went on to win the NCAA championship that year. He was drafted by the Chicago Bulls number 3 overall in 1984. While they struggled in the playoffs in his early days, he was easily one of the best players anyone had ever seen. By the 90s, nobody had a chance, winning 3 straight NBA championships. He suspiciously retired for a season and a half and came back and won another 3 straight. One of, if not, the most clutch players in NBA history. He retired and came back, and we won't talk too much about his second comeback, but even in his 40s, he was great. His airness is a 6-time NBA champion, 6-time Finals MVP, 5-time NBA MVP, and is highly regarded as the best basketball player of all time. He's much more than a shoe brand and a crying meme. It's been said that if Jordan was the original, well then this man was the remix. At number 1, we have Kobe Bean Bryant. The Black Mamba is my favorite basketball player of all time. Since the 1998 All-Star Game, when I saw him go toe-to-toe with the GOAT, and he had no fear and was full of tenacity. I knew this guy was going to be my new guy once Jordan retired, which was that year. Kobe spent some of his time growing up in Italy while his father played pro basketball, and he became obsessed with the game. His family from home would send him tapes that they recorded of basketball games, and he watched them religiously. He became a fan of the Lakers, watching Magic and the Showtime Lakers. From Lower Merion High School, Kobe was drafted 13th overall by the Charlotte Hornets and quickly traded to the Los Angeles Lakers in 1997. Once teamed with Shaq and Phil Jackson, they went on to win 3 championships in a row. But the team dismantled after they lost at their 4th attempt. Kobe became Mr. LA and was killer of the basketball court. He looked at his opponents and saw fear in their eyes. In my opinion, he was robbed from multiple MVPs due to controversy earlier in his career. He was a one-man powerhouse until he teamed up with Pau Gasol, and then once again he became a multi-time NBA champion. He's one of the toughest players of all time, always playing through injury, and had a competitiveness that was unmatched. His death was a sad day for all of his fans, but he gave us so much that all we can do is thank him. Kobe Bryant is a 5-time NBA champion, 2-time Finals MVP, and an NBA MVP. He is one of my heroes and a true source of inspiration. And that's my list. Comment section is below. Now let me know your favorite basketball players of all time. Let's see how we compare. Now don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Thanks for watching List of Dieg-icho. Hey, Brother Earth.